Hello, true believers. Let's get this party started right. Let's get this party train going. And I said I was going to do a reaction video on this guy, and he made a video about me, just like other people that made a video about me. I'm eventually going to get around to it. It's on my list. I have a lot of content I need to make. I've been sometimes I'm procrastinating even the videos I'm supposed to make about the Korean businessman and the Korean golfer tourists that were kidnapped and murdered. So uh, I'll get to it. I'm just like I said, I just have a lot of content between my own between my own content, and then now I added like gaming content also because I've been playing this game with Hero. He plays a lot of games, but those are one of the main games he plays with his friends. So I've been busy, but eventually I will get to it, and I'm finally gonna get to this person's video. I know it's a long time coming. Don't worry, if you're on the list, I'll definitely make it. If you're on the list, you'll definitely make your way through. But like everything on the list, they got their priorities, especially if you put money in it. If, for example, there's something on the list, and if you want me to do it right away, just throw some money at me because I'm just like a cheap whore, and I'll do it. Just like that video that Jim Bob asked me, and I said he wanted me to do a reaction video on Toothless Hick. And I said, okay, yeah, it's on my list. I've got, I got other people on my list. And he goes, so give me. So I just told him it's on my list. And then he told me, I'll give you $20. And he says, hold on, I'll get it done right now. So if I'm supposed to put up shelves, I'm still putting up shelves. It's not a joke. It's not one of those ongoing jokes where I say I'm gonna put up shelves and I never do it. I really need to do it. I wish somebody would give me $20 so I could do it right away. Somebody, hey, it's only here's $20. Go do a vlog on your shelves so get it right away so the boss will be happy. Uh, I wish somebody would do that, but if not, then it's okay. It's the morning and the kids are still asleep. They're sleeping in because it's summer break. We're doing great. Everything's fine. We've got our health. We got our family together. That's the only thing important. Hero would tell me how broken mommy was, the boss was when I was gone. She did drink to ease the pain, and I understand her dad is an alcoholic actually, so she has that in her genes. But I mean, she obviously at that time it was a rough time. Now she has no reason to drink other than for recreational purposes. But when I was gone, it was coping purposes. And I asked Kira what it was. Sometimes she would fall asleep on the couch, she said, and forget to make me dinner. And all he had to do to make dinner was all he had to do eat for dinner was Doritos. Was very heartbreaking when he would tell me that story. He didn't tell me while I was in prison because he didn't want to make it harder on me, because you don't want to think about your family and what is going on outside, and this is what's going on outside. So that was a very sad story. I'm glad I went through that inferno. I went through my own Dante's Inferno. So that was one of the stories that the I can imagine the image. Those are the kind of images that go through your mind while you're in prison. How's your family doing? And then that's when Hiro told me sometimes mom would fall asleep because she's been drinking. She usually what she does, she'll drink and she'll listen to some sad songs or Christian music, and look at our family pictures when we were still together. And she'd fall asleep on the couch, and sometimes she'd forget to make dinner for Hero, and he would just eat Doritos instead. And he says, "Okay, I like Doritos." So that was the heartbreaking part. So just imagine putting yourself in that position, and why. And then you've got guys like this uh, benefiting from it, taking advantage of it, just like brain dead. It's one thing to use your own family and to use your own situation for your own benefits, but when you throw somebody under the bus, then there's hell and consequences to pay. Especially these so-called vloggers about the Philippines who's doling out advice, who's giving out their expertise, which know nothing. As you could see, they don't know any better. So let's keep that in mind as we go through this video. Like I said, I just wanted to share. I have a lot of stories like that, so that's one story that I I experienced that I shared. There was a lot of things. There's a lot of experiences I need to share, and that was one of them. So let's get to this video. I know everybody likes the drama, And since it's the pandemic and I've got a lot of unfinished business with all these people, so we're gonna start with you. I think this guy's name is, let's get his background here. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong or not. Uh, his name is, I know he's, so it's like road less traveled. I'm sure he had several. I don't, like I said, I don't keep up on. I got my own problems. I've got plenty of things on my plate. Everybody knows that number one, I'm a family man before I'm a vlogger, so that takes up a lot of time. So I do these in the morning and I vlog about if I can combine family and blog at the same time, I do, but this is a whole separate issue. So this guy, apparently he's not here in the Philippines anymore, from what I understand. He was in the Philippines. I think he started a bunch of failed businesses here in the Philippines. I always say if you want to make $100,000, if you want to make a 50, the saying here in the Philippines, if you want to make $50,000 in investment money, start with $100,000. So he made the stupid mistake of starting a business over here in the Philippines, and of course it'll fail because the way they do business over here is criminal. It's so ass backward that I would rather poke a hot needle in my eye than start a business over here. And well, what about Bebotoni? Yeah, like as you could see the result with Bebotoni, 15 years of vlogging, and this is what I'm doing. So how pathetic is that? So that's kind of a testimonial to why you should never do business. And then if Bebotoni, if it's not a business, then what the hell is it? It's something to do. It's a hobby. So something to I say that I'm an artist, and this is part of my art. This is part of my talent is expressing myself, communication. I have this gift, I have this talent where I can express my ideas in a way, in a style, in a format that people can understand. And here we go. So these people threw me under the bus. Now it's their turn to face the consequences. Now it's their turn to face the music. This person, I don't know why he didn't take off his video, take it offline. It's still, as you can see, it's still available in public. I don't haven't heard what he said because I want to come into these video reaction videos fresh so you could see. I don't want to premeditate or pre-think about what they say because then I'll be overthinking it. So he made, there's hardly any videos, but I know when I first came out, I guarantee there must have been dozens and hundreds, but these are the only two or three left. Okay. I remember David Earthling had a video about me, and David the Earthling. How do I know? Because when I was in prison, one of the prison guards were interviewing me, and he was asking me uh, what, who, how, where, and what. And I said, I vlog. And he said, you vlog? What's your name? And I told him, I go, you can look up my name, and there's gonna. And at that point, it was just like within uh was it months or weeks, it's like, so he pulled up his phone. I go, you could look up my name. I could have, there's going to be pages and pages of searches with my resulting, I mean, I so he pulled it up and it just typed in my name, and then all these pages came up, and he was like shocked. He goes, damn, you are famous. Yeah, I am famous. And he was not, I'm not saying he was impressed, but he was uh, kind of surprised by it. So, uh, so also, what I also know is Kristen Sabu made a video about me, and here's the funny part: somebody actually sent me a video. So, Kristen Sabu, you're also on the list here. So, we all know you deleted the video because for obvious reasons, because you're a coward and you're running scared. I mean, if you put the video up, you put a lot of effort into it. It's time for you to face the music, and you run like everybody else. You guys are running and hiding and deleting it. Then why do it in the first place? So you made it, even though you deleted it, you're still part of the list. So we're gonna do a reaction video on Chris in Cebu also. And like I said, these foreigners, I don't get it why they want to come to they're a foreigner in a foreign land and they want to make enemies. But not only with me, but the people who the people who believe in truth and justice, and they want to make enemies out. Like I said, not just me, but everyone else who believes in the truth and justice and facing reality. So that includes Chris and Cebu. So, Kristen Sabu, you should stick to your wandering idiot videos where you're just going around wandering. You should stick to that and stay away from me, because I have a way of kind of keep coming back. I'm like a bad rash. Can't get rid of me that is easily. So maybe he came to the realization after he made the video. It's like, oh man, I screwed up. Yeah, but you still made it, and anything you put up on the internet, it's still gonna be there. So Kristen Cebu, you you screwed up. You made a video about me, and if people want, like I said, if this is what people are interested in, this people want, if they want me to file a case against all these, as you can see, it's that easy to file a case. What I'll do next is that affidavit of rape. You don't have to rape somebody to be accused of rape. Okay, I showed it to you. There's no evidence. Like, can you imagine you're the prosecutor. They come up to you and this says, okay, give me all the your statements. Okay, he raped you. He raped you. All right, let me see the rape medical legal. All right, but he still raped you. Is that what you're sticking to it? All right, let's go file the case. You see how easy that is? I have firsthand knowledge, firsthand experience. So same thing over here with these guys. If that's what people want to see, if that's what they deserve, and if you guys want to support me on that, back me up on that, uh, put it up on my list. As you can see, if you want to put a incentive to put that on the list, because I've got a lot of expenses. Heroes tuition is coming up due, so I need to offset that if anybody wants to help. And people are asking me. I was thinking the other day. It's like I was looking at the what the law says about these guys with their libel and slander. That the penalty is 2 years and $2,000, and I wonder how much or what is that worth to a person avoiding all that. And I the funny part is there's no way I'm going to be paid off to not pursue it, because I would rather see them burn like they burned me than whatever money that they offer me. But if they give me an offer I can't refuse, then of course I'll take it. But I have a feeling the people in the expat, I mean the people in the expat, the people in our community would say, we'll pay for a hero's tuition. Go ahead and burn them. If they say, "Oh well," it's like, don't file a case against me. We'll pay for a hero's tuition, and I'll say no. I'll pay for a hero's tuition on my own. I'd rather see you burn uh, at the stake just like you burned me. There's just something about Weasley and just downright it's like yellow. I'm lost for words how to describe these people. Like I said, they should know better. But like I said, I haven't seen. So Kristen Zabu, you're on the list. So congratulations. I'll probably do if this is what the community want. Class action. One of the thoughts that was going in my head, there's this vlogger, there's this local lawyer vlogger. I kind of his one of his videos was recommended, and I contacted him about my case, and he said that he'll do consultations for like 30 $35. And I wanted to talk. I was considering doing that, but it was just kind of like me, since money is kind of an issue. I tried to tell him, well, it's going to be a good content for your vlog also, if you want to talk about my case, because it's got people, the police, death. Like I said, the I actually saw the video of the chief of police. Remember Paris? That's actually dead. It's going to be funny watching his video, and he's going to be talking to us from the dead. So like I said, this has all the drama. It's got other vloggers. It's got the police. It's got murder. It's got rape. It's got an innocent person. So you would think that he would be interested in it, but he said that the consultation for him to even start the discussion was $35. And of course, like all lawyers, they're greedy, money first. They'll sell their own families kidneys for money, because that's what all lawyers are. I mean, I'm not. That's just a simple fact. That's not libel or slander. Everybody knows lawyers are scum, just like these guys are. So, but the point is that he does a vlog So I know it's not that much, but it is a lot of money for me. And and he could give exposure to these guys of what they did also, because they actually broke the law versus me. Three judges have already said I didn't break any law. So let's move forward. So the what I liked about him was he also has a vlog and he streams, and the exposure would be great. So to just to make an example out of them, that like don't there's nothing to gain, or there's less to gain by, if you want to make money off of other people's tragedy, there's a price to pay that's higher than the cost. So we have to teach these people a lesson not to do these kind of things. I haven't seen this video, so let's see what. But I know Brain Dead and his. And please, I know the cult followers are watching this, so the Brain Dead cult, they're zealots. They're what makes them insane. They're right downright nuts. They're crazy. They make no sense. Their just purpose in life is just to attack, and anybody who attacks their idol, who is their king of attackers, who has no respect for other people's culture and and family and privacy, uh, and they're the same way. So that's the Brain Dead is their leader. They're the same way, and I didn't want to be a champion for this cause, but if I have no choice, I guess like a lot of things that I do, I'll do it. So what we have over here is our friend, and let's intro this opening monologue has gone long enough. Let's get to his video, and we'll just react to it. And I'll give you a response, and I'll pause just the usual format. And like I said, it's if you want something, if you're requesting something of me that I could do this reaction video, I'll do it. I'll put it on my list. But if you want me to get it done right away and I drop everything, even my sandwich, hell, I'll do it for 20 bucks. I mean, I've never worked for so low. I never stooped. So I was like, I've never worked for so little. But anyway, when it comes to paying the bills and when you're trying to make a living, there's no such thing as pride. So let's get to this video. And here's me eating more of my pride by doing a reaction video on this, because I'm just a whore and I know this is what you guys like. So I'm giving you guys what you like. Let's do it.
I talk about the B-bots issue and a few other things.
Let's talk about B-bots. It's bebots. Please, it's a Tagalog. So just like, it's like Philippine dreams. It's Philippines, not Philippine, you idiots.
Let's just call it Expat community. I'll make that the heading of this. If you're unaware, there's a guy in the Philippines who does vlogging. But I do want to stress this is my personal opinion.
Good. He's sharing with us his personal opinion. So far, I haven't seen anything wrong. So he's entitled to his personal opinion. So let's keep going.
I do think he was involved in things he shouldn't have been.
He thinks I'm involved in things I shouldn't have been. Fair enough. Oh, we'll give him that. I could probably agree to a certain extent.
And he's been arrested for them.
And I've been arrested for it. So good. So that's why I wanted to, before I could do reaction videos, is I kind of wanted to set it up what actually happened. And you kind of see the evidence. You kind of saw the testimony. So I'm just kind of laying the groundwork before we actually get to the juicy details. So the next is the affidavit of their statement. Okay, because apparently, obviously, there was no evidence of rape. I mean, the girl is a virgin. So what's the reason why someone who has never been raped are accusing somebody of rape? So now I showed you also because of money. And this guy, this idiot, you should know better. Look at the look on your face. It's like, okay, the police are involved. I got this vlogger who's been doing 15 years, never done it. There's no reason why he would do it. Now all of a sudden here it is. And he didn't, the first thing he didn't think about was money. I think somebody told me PDV said that I was going to get off on a technicality. Was he? I think he was the only one. So somebody confirmed that in the comments. Somebody said that, I think I heard when I was live streaming, and they said that PDV was right. That when I first did my live stream, that I was going to go free again, while all these guys, I'm sure, would guarantee or tell you the opposite. So let's go. Let's continue. But so by the way, thank you very much for your video, and thank you very much for the Toothless Hick. If Toothless Hick didn't ever made that video, I wouldn't have had 20 bucks and we wouldn't have enjoyed our meal. So you got to look at like all these guys. Like when I would say on my live stream, even Paul killed Christians. Even Hemi was a avid hater of my stuff in the beginning. We even had the discussion that I blocked him. Of course, I blocked him. He was just saying a bunch of nasty comments in the beginning, but then, like a Dragon Ball villain, he comes back the second season. He's like an ally now, or he's not as angry as before. He kind of what I don't want to say reformed, but so now he's civil now. He's calm now. He actually is acting normal. So I understand probably with first impressions, it's because it's so politically incorrect. But let's get to this guy. So like I said, so this guy's history, he doesn't even live here in the Philippines anymore. And I could probably go into the four reasons why you don't people leave the Philippines. Number one is because of convenience. There's no post office over here. There's no everything is out of stock and there's no customer service. So inconvenience. So everything, the weather, the mosquitoes. But then again, there's mosquitoes and humidity in like Louisiana. So you can't. That's not exclusive to the Philippines. But what is just the way they is the inconvenience of it all. But at least in Louisiana, they have a Costco and they have customer service. But over here, they don't. So that's number one, the inconvenience. There's the post office actually in Louisiana, even though they have mosquitoes and humidity, actually deliver and they won't steal your mail just like they do over here in the Philippines. So that's inconvenience, and that's number four. Number three was dang, I forget what they are in order. I was that money. You're gonna run out of money because everything here is more expensive for the basics. And people will say, "Oh, it's so cheap over here. A massage is so cheap over here. A haircut is so cheap over here." Damn, our haircuts are free because, as you can see, how bad my haircut is. I do it myself, and then I cut Hero's hair. So any manual labor that you could do, cheap manual labor, unskilled labor, you could do yourself. It is for free. But when it comes to electricity, gas, food, quality, clothing, quality, technology, cars, you're talking about anywhere between 50 to 100 to 200% markup on, like I said, gasoline, electricity, and on food. And like I said, you can't compare your standards of how much you're making. Think of it as a cost of what the average person, the minimum, think about the minimum wage in America and how much it would cost to buy a Whopper over there. And you're talking about a small percentage of your money that your take home versus the maximum wage over here. So the minimum wage over there is a small percentage of your Whopper, but the maximum wage over there, not the minimum to be more specific, to emphasize the point, would take 100% or even more just to buy a Whopper. After you take out your expenses, your the expenses of going to work, like your fare, like your transportation cost to go to work, there's not enough to for you to buy a Whopper after that. So there's not even enough money for you to go to work and buy a Whopper. So that's why I'm saying it's more expensive over here. You got to think of it in relations to that. And also in terms of quality and proportions, it's also a big difference. But anyway, so number four is inconvenience. Number three is money. Number two is privacy. As you can see, there's no privacy here in the Philippines. If you move in with your girlfriend, if you put a house with your girlfriend or your wife, all of a sudden, not only her extended family moves in, and then pretty soon, if you want your privacy back, you move out. And number one reason why, like I said, I went through this. I already said this before, but for the new people that I haven't heard it, the number one reason why you would leave the Philippines is priorities. If priorities are change, that could include, like for example, for Hero, uh, where what is he going to do after he finishes school or even college? Where is he going to work? There's no work over here. You don't come here to work. You come here to spend your money. So our priorities change. What when I came over here, I wanted to raise a family, but and have time and get back to my roots and my culture, and that's how I wanted my family to grow up in. But then after that, what did we do next? And my priorities changed. Well, this person, his priorities might have changed because his business failed, so he wanted to go somewhere else for a failed business. I mean, there's really no reason for you to leave the Philippines other than if you failed here in the Philippines. As you could see, me, I stayed here in the Philippines even after several failures. So even after what happened, you'd think that I would just leave the Philippines, but even after that, I'm still here. I'm still vlogging. So there's something about this person who vlogged about the Philippines, who lived in the Philippines, that's worse than going to prison and having the police want to murder. My situation is I've got enough evidence on the police to put them away for life. Now that should be enough reason for me to leave the Philippines, because now they're gonna be out to murder me and put me in prison again. But this person, and I'm still here, but this person obviously has worse problems than that because he had to leave the Philippines. So let's get into and why he's still vlogging about the Philippines, even though he doesn't live here anymore. Let's get to that. But if you guys want to add anything else to what I said, any other additional information to complement what I'm saying, feel free to do so in the comments. But let's get to the rest of the video. It's 12 seconds long, and I've already talked for 25 minutes.
I don't think he's going anywhere soon. I think he's going to spend probably 20 plus years in jail in the Philippines because they.
He says that I'm not going anywhere soon. That's his opinion. He said I'm gonna spend 20 plus years in prison, and that's where you're wrong. Okay, but let's go on. So it's his opinion. He says I'm gonna spend 20. So what else is he saying? Let me back up a little bit here.
In the Philippines because they don't take it lightly.
They don't take it lightly. Oh, well, where is that coming from? They don't take what lightly? To people falsely accused of rape so they can steal money from them, right? You didn't know that? You didn't know that people over here, isn't that the reason why you're not here? Because you're they something when it comes to money over here, the people won't. That's how they do business over here. They'll just steal it from you. And what do you think the police are gonna do? Is that what happened to you, or is that what you did to somebody? So most businesses fail over here because they stole money, or that's how they do it over here. That's how business is done. It's either money is being stolen from you, or you're stealing money, and maybe you're a little bit of both, or maybe you are both, and that's why you're here, and that's why you're not here anymore. That's just my opinion. Let's get to the fact that you're not here in the Philippines and your business failed. It's usually because of those reasons. Let's continue.
What am I talking about? Well, when they arrested him, he
When they arrested me. Okay, let's go into it.
was in a hotel room with two minors.
I was in a hotel room with two minors. Okay. Yeah, that sounds terrible. That sounds desperate. I wonder who planned, who would mastermind. Oh, so let's say, yeah, that is terrible. But what about the person, or what about the organization, or what about the chief of the police chief that okayed that operation to have me with two minors? Okay, well, being stuck with two minors is one thing, but who planning it is another thing. Well, who's worse? Me, who was stuck in that entrapment, or the person who planned it in the first place? Let's be realistic over here. See, but this is the problem. See, these people can't think that. They can't think past that. So that's my gift. That's my talent. I can see the big picture. Now, these guys can't see what's in front of them. That's why they fail. I fail also, but I find a way to manage and get back up and still here in the Philippines. Well, this person is not.
Camera equipment and some.
So camera equipment, everybody knows I have camera equipment. So of course we got to put our spin on it. We got to add to it. We got to go, okay, that camera equipment is for terrible, horrible things. Of course, all right, they have my camera equipment. They even rated not only the camera equipment on me, but the camera equipment at my house rated at my house. So they got everything that they need to put me away in prison. Isn't that right? Uh, what's the nickname for this guy? It sounds like a limey, so let's just call him Limey. I don't know if he's actually a limey. He could be Australian. I kind of get those kind of accents confused, but let's just call him Limey in the meantime because I don't really know his real name.
Adult toys, let's put it that way.
Adult toys. You forgot the midget and the donkey while you're at it.
Full-blown raid, police in there.
Full-blown raid, which was, of course, got to be planned. Got to be set up.
Guns pulled.
Guns are pulled. Like I'm the most, like you need a gun at me. Like I said, I fired guns before, but I have no reason to. I'm kind of one of the people that believe that the pen is mightier than the sword, or they're just more hassle than they are worth it. I don't think I'll ever find myself in a position where I'm gonna need a gun in a gunfight, but these people obviously do. Guns drawn, a lot of drama. I get it. Let's keep going.
at the same time, the camera.
Camera. How convenient. How did the camera know to be there at the same time? How is it? I mean, don't you want to like, how did that happen? How did he doesn't even want to like think about that. Let's just think about it. Oh, it naturally, spontaneously happened. I was just driving along, picked up these two minors and said, okay, hey, let's go into a hotel. And bam, the police were there. What is it? They call it red teaming or red tag. That's what they said in court. We were in the area and we were red teaming with a news crew that had this entrapment already scheduled, so we weren't planning it. And also the raid, the search warrant after his house, that was a coincidence that it was the same person. So of course this only an idiot like this would believe the same thing. I mean, look at that. This is not what you want to be. This is why this is the face of failure over here. And the evidence of that is he's not here in the Philippines anymore. He's vlogging about the Philippines even though he's not here. But this is what keeps them from seeing the real truth. So let's get to it. So as you can see, these guys don't know any better. They should know better, but they don't. They refuse to. But why? Let's keep going.
Team were there as well, because what you do get in the Philippines is it's quite common to have a audience, in the sense that you will get a camera crew from a local network actually come along for the bust, and it'll be on the news that night. In his case, it was, which is one of the reasons, some people say, oh, he's going to buy himself out. You can't buy yourself out of that stuff.
True. You can't buy yourself out of it. Yeah, I do agree. At least this guy is not as stupid as he look as not completely stupid, but he is stupid. I agree. You can't buy your way out of this because even then, if any, there's too much blood in the water now. You can't buy your way out of it. Even if you did, what is going to happen? Somebody says it's just like the dead, the widow's, the wife or the widow. She didn't know she was a widow. She thought that she could buy her husband back, and there's no buying somebody back from the dead. She paid 5 million pesos, $100,000 to the police to get her husband back to get out of jail. And as you could see, he was already dead. So same situation over here. You're not going to be able to pay, even if you pay, that money is just going to be, you're not going to get in the results that you want. It's going to be wasted. You might as well set that money on fire and warm your hands with it and get more use out of it, because that's the insult to injury. So he is correct. So anybody, when you're in that situation, what are you, who are you going to trust? Somebody tells you, the police say, okay, we'll give you back your, goes to your wife or your friend, or we'll give you back your friend or your husband or your father, give us money. And of course you're scared, but are you going to trust them when it comes to money, that you're giving the money that they'll give you back your loved ones? The answer is no. So he is correct when it comes to this situation. There's nobody, that's the problem. There's nobody here that you could trust when it comes to money. I want to probably tell the story about, people always say, even Brain Dead came to my live stream about how wonderful and how kind the people are over here, and they'll give you the shirt off their backs. And that's there's a dark side to that, because when a person gives you the shirt off their backs, that's their way of expressing, that's their way of they telling you that, like, hey, I'm giving you everything that I have, everything that I own, and this is all that I own, and I'm sharing it with you. Well, the problem with that is they expect you to do the same thing. It's like, it works fine when you're dealing with other poor people. They give you the shirt off your back, then they expect you to do the same thing. If you're in, that's everything they own. The other poor person says, sure, here, now that you gave me the shirt off your back, here, let me give you the shirt off of my back and give it to you. And fine. So they expect you to do the same thing, but not just the shirt off your back. It's like, I give you everything, I share with you everything I own. I expect you to share everything you own also. The problem with that is I don't have the shirt off my back. I've got these credit cards and I've got a lot of camera equipment. You expect me to give that to you? Yeah, I expect that to give to you because I gave you everything that I own also, but I expect you to give that to me also. And okay, well, what happens if I don't? Then that's the problem. That's the dark side. That's when they'll do these entrapments. That's when they'll do their criminal activities, and that's when they'll take it from you if you don't give it to them. Because these are your golf bags. Hey, I would give you my golf bag if I had a golf bag. Since I don't, then you need to give me my golf bag. You need to give me your golf bag, and if you don't, then you don't know our culture, and then we should put you in jail or steal it from you or take it. It's my right now to take it from you because you're not respecting our culture. So that's kind of the dark side of there's always pros and cons. The other side, it's like, okay, yes, there people are going to do this, are going to that, and if they're doing it, then they expect the same thing from you. And if you don't do it, if they see that you're not sharing, it was like the same thing when I was in prison. It's like everybody, there's a lot of people there with no food, and here I am with a lot of food, and they expect me to share it. Well, there's some obviously I do more than my share of my sharing, but they still see that I have my own stock, my own personal use where I don't share it, which they don't like. Of course, I have a right to it, but there's going to be people there that won't respect that, and they'll steal it when I'm gone. So anyway, let's go back to what he's saying. So good point. You're not going to be able to buy out, but of course, everybody's saying you're going to have to that I bought myself out of it, which is I already told you the result. Where if I did, let's say I did spend all this money, where did it go to? Did it buy off the complainants? Did they testify? This look at it. Did it buy off the police? No, they kept adding more cases. That third case with the Department of Justice, if you could see, the name of the new person, the name of the new chief is the new one that replaced the old one. Paras was the new one, the old one, the one that you saw in the interview. He's the one who I assume stole the credit cards, my Bitcoin money. He's, which I'm gonna do a video later. He was actually the replacement, and as a replacement, he says, "Okay, let's file another case against him." Because what happened was he found out that the department was going to get in trouble for using my credit cards. So it was coming out after 3 months. The boss told me, so it was going around. So what they were going to do is they're going to try to bury me in more court cases. And he goes, okay, one of these is going to stick. We're going to keep filing and filing against him, so this will never come out. So that way that they were on TV, that the truth will never come out about what they did, how they're the real criminals in this situation. But let's go and continue what this person has to say.
Stuff's not at that, not that level.
Dude,
Also, I don't think he's connected or wealthy enough to actually even instigate that. Now,
I'm not connected and wealthy enough to even instigate that. I wonder where he got that information or where he got it, which is true. I have no looks. That's why you can comment about my looks as much as you want, and I would say that's why I don't show my face on video. That's why I avoid it as much as possible. I've got my own insecurities. Like, it's like I might be ugly, but I'm not as ugly as this guy. But he's showing his face. Give us a little why don't you give us some help us out over here by not gracing us with why not hurting your eyes so much? But he is right. I've always said I have no money. I have no connections. The only person I know is you guys, the people that are supporting. So this is my way of saying, hey, I screwed up, but I'm going to continue the fight, and I made a mistake, and I am making up for it, and I'm taking you guys to Costco and not just saying sorry, just like brain dead. I mean, we will touch back on this. It's like he said sorry when there's only 10 people on the live stream, when the one that he joined, that he was supposed to be giving the middle finger to anybody who joins the live stream. Now he's joined the live stream with 10 people watching the live stream, while when he did the video about me and my family, there were thousands of people watching, and he doesn't want to make it, he doesn't want to say he's sorry in his channel. He was able, he could throw me under the bus with it and expose my family and put them in danger, since we're talking about safety here, for safety reasons. But never mind putting my family in danger by making all of these comments and all this about me. In his defense, it's pretty much, but making it worse or adding to the fuel to the fire, putting my family more in danger, that's fine. But when it comes to sorry, I screwed up, no, I can't do that on my channel. I'm here to evil things. Only evil things are for my channel. Brain dead. This is where you should have stuck to but you let your insecurities, your weaknesses, your cowardice get the best of you. So here it is. So let's continue with what he has to say.
I've seen some of the stuff going on related to some of the other expats. I've seen Ned.
And look at this guy is so smug. So now he's talking about what's going on. So the aftermath. So after I was in prison, it goes now everybody's like going pitchforks and torches. Okay, let's go after the other people that are innocent also.
Trying to drag Jay and Seth Style into this as well, which is I found completely bizarre.
I agree with you. Now this guy is now making sense. He's not as bad as he seems. Right? It is completely bizarre trying to drag people into it. And we have to probably explore the mind or the bizarreness. Even this guy understood that like just because you join me in a live stream that all of a sudden you're guilty by association is bizarre. They've got this agenda. They've got this axe to grind for some reason. And where is it coming from? And like I said, it's not coming from us. It's like these people are angry. Is it because of the steroids? Is it because of, I mean, we all go through tragedy. We all go through struggles. But look at me. I still kept my perspective. I've gone through more pain and hardship and struggle than most people, but I still would not do that to anybody. I wouldn't do that to my worst enemy. Here we go.
In the sense that when all this stuff was sort of going on relating to V-Bots, firstly, Seth has never met the guy.
Good point.
They have been on the same live stream, and for a live stream, for those who aren't aware, is basically anybody can connect to it. So, for example, if I'm in Spain, Seth is in Manila, Johnny Bravo's over somewhere else, you can all have a live stream. You don't have to be sat in the same room. I don't know if Ned doesn't understand this stuff. I'm not sure.
He understands it, and this is where the irony, where he says, "I get it. I really get it." You don't get it, brain dead. Even this guy with half his brain could put it together. That where are you coming from? It's so bizarre. What are you saying? What is it? What is your internal anger? And that's probably what we need to analyze, we need to process for you to be going after people that have nothing to do with you. And you should just stick to your videos about your girlfriend or whoever it is that you're milking the cow for free from. That's your claim to fame, and then you go off into something else which you have no business going into, and now you want to drag other people into it, but why, right? Is it because that it maybe because there's something in front of you that you want to get so badly but you can't get it, especially now that you're trapped in with a baby on top of it. Now you got to deal with diapers, and you got to deal with the changes of your what do we call that, called her itchy crotch. Now itchy crotch is going to show now that we're married. If you ever listen to her, that there's nothing scarier than when a woman says, "I'm the wife now, so I could release my inner demon now." So now he's experiencing that here. But anyway, before that, like I said, there's probably something that's driving brain dead insane, that he has to express it and that he has to attack even Sissy on top of that. What is it that we're doing that made him so angry that would want to attack them? Why is a person so angry like that? I mean, I get angry, but we do things for it to be constructive, right? If something angers you, and if something that you don't like, then why? And then what are you going to do about it? So something made him angry, and this is what he's doing about it. And he's attacking not only me, so I made him very angry, but anybody who didn't attack me is considered, if you're not against him, then you must be with him, is what he's saying. And like I said, there's not only anger, but a whole element of evilness. And this is brain dead, is the face of evil that we have to expose. And probably if you look at the back of his head, you'll probably see the mark of the beast on him. But anyway, let's continue.
I don't know the guy personally. But the point is, they've had some live streams discussing the stuff that B-Bots was doing. And I wouldn't call that, best friends or being involved in it, but the wording that Ned used was definitely very concerning about how he formed his opinion. It'd be interesting to see how he formed his opinions. But let's be honest here, I doubt he'll ever bring it up. But he did make some very bold statements relating to other people, and as such, there's a bit of a friction going on with that. Now, Bebots was arrested because this stuff has been ongoing. He breaches many of the laws in the Philippines. A lot of people have been talking about the age of consent in the Philippines.
Breaches of laws. At least we put that in, put that bed to rest. I mean, the discussion was already has been going on for years. If there's anything positive that came out of what happened, is that whatever it is that I'm doing after the raid, after the entrapment. I mean, you could have arrested me without doing the entrapment. You could have arrested me. You could have did the search warrant without doing the. But this is the Philippines. We have to make it put on a show. So even though inadvertently I didn't want to be part of it, here is the show, and I hope you guys appreciate it. But let's continue what he has to say.
It's been 12 years old, but it's been superseded by other laws. That's why people often get confused. Being in the company of a minor, you're not allowed to be in places like a resort, a bar, beaches.
And that's a funny thing. I was never charged with that. That was, as you can see from all the paperwork, if that was it, why did they just charge me with that? It's like, oh, but they would still lose because, okay, why was he there? Oh, we set him up to do it. So he was only there because you set it up to do it. So he wouldn't have been there if you didn't plan it. So that's where they would lose again. It's like, well, the police planned it. Well, would it have happened? The question now is, would it have ever happened if the police didn't plan it, if the police didn't set it up? If the answer is we don't know, then the right of the accused is when in doubt, you have to go, there's no guilty.
Anything that's classed as a tourist location for a start. But then you've got, if a child's in your car that you're not related to, it could be human trafficking.
Yeah, if the child's in my car, okay, they were in my car. We have to go somewhere. We have to go eat. Why didn't they arrest me right then? A crime was already in progress. Okay, so let's just say it's a crime to have minors in the car. Okay, the police set it up. The girls were in my car. They should have just zoomed right in while we were going to the restaurant. We were eating and arrested me right there and then. But no, we have to put on a show. All right. See, why couldn't you figure this out? Why couldn't you? It's like, well, he had a car. They're always in his car with him. Why didn't they have enough evidence for the girls to be in the car, but why didn't they go ahead and arrest him? When he showed up, they could have arrested him. Okay, when they got in the car, why didn't they arrest him? Why didn't they do those things? Oh, because in the testimony of the police is, why didn't you? Because that's what my attorney said. You see it in black and white. Why didn't you arrest him right away when he showed up or when the girls got in the car? And it goes, oh, he hasn't raped them yet. Oh, so they were waiting for me to rape them first. So they have to wait for the crime to finish. So they have to wait for me to finish raping them and then they'll arrest me. So that's their testimony in black and white. This is the Philippines. Is it bizarre? Absolutely. Let's continue.
Trafficking. If you're putting stuff on the internet, as Bebots was, then it comes under the cybercrime laws. Then you have the mail order bride laws because he was actually running a dating agency from...
Dating? There's no dating here.
What I heard and seen and the way he was...
What you heard and what you seen. Okay, this is the problem here. This is your interpretation. Even the judge said in black and white, I showed it to you in the documents. The judge said, you can't leave things in interpretation. It's either it's black or it's white. There's no interpretation in between. Once you get into a situation where you're interpreting once you're interpreting it, then the person has the right to benefit of the doubt. So let's continue.
Promoting it, in my opinion, he was running.
See, you can't base your criminal charges on opinions. An opinion is not evidence in a criminal case. This person should know that. You should know. See, maybe this person is uneducated also, or maybe he is educated, and like he said, he doesn't have my same skill that applying. Being educated is one thing, knowing the laws and knowing the information, but can you apply it? And if you don't, you're going to fail and you're going to end up leaving the Philippines also. So don't end up like this guy. He might be educated, but like I said, he lacks that part of the brain where you can take the reservation, but you can't hold the reservation. You might know the laws, but you don't know how to apply it.
An illegal dating operation. As such, take your pick. He has more laws broken than he hasn't.
I have more laws broken. So what does that mean? What those three judges who are that's their whole life, that's all their expertise, and then you've got the police who's got very well incentivized to say that I'm breaking all the laws. Okay, then and then all the evidence they need. What else do you want me to do? You want me to give you a blood sample while you're at it? You already raided my house. You already took everything in my wallet. You already took my car. What else do you need for me to prove that all these things that I'm saying that you're all these laws that I'm breaking? And three judges, not just one, not just two, not just three, in three different courts said there is no crime being committed. The fact that I'm here standing vlogging is testimony to that.
Broken. And then obviously you've got the look.
So you're obviously you're entitled to your opinion, but when it comes to laws being broken, that's where you're crossing the line. Your opinion is somebody drinks too much, somebody smokes too much, but when you're saying things like this that I'm breaking the law, that's not no longer an opinion now. That's libel now.
Location of where he was arrested. Now, my personal opinion is he's going to fall under the cybercrime laws, the child protection laws, and the mail order bride laws. Well, good luck.
I don't even know where to begin there. So all these laws I'm breaking, all these broken laws. Gotcha.
Luck with that, because
Oh, thank you very much for the luck. I'll take it. I'll take any luck that anybody's giving me at this point. But anyway, here in the Philippines, there is no such thing as luck. But what is here in the Philippines is the truth. And no matter how long you bury it, no matter how much you bury it, even if you bury it in three courts under three judges, the police, which they did, the same human trafficking, the truth will eventually find its way out. That's the problem with the truth. It always comes out. And here it is.
I'm thinking more than 20 years in jail, maybe.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you those 20 years, even though the 2 years was pretty long. And there were some situations and there were times where I was thinking to myself, well, I lived a good life. At least Hero and I spent a lot of time. At least his personality was already formed. I gave him enough of myself and my guidance and I shared enough of my wisdom and knowledge with him that I figured that he has enough to survive as Hero. So I had that conversation also that what he was talking about, but that I'm going to be spending the rest of my good years, my healthy years in prison because the possibility was so great. So, uh, in to his disappointment, and to my to my to my good fortune, gosh, I'm getting lost for words over here. I know what I want to say, that he is wrong,
Life because of the.
and that's your problem. When you're more wrong than you are right, you're gonna fail. And you're in this situation, you shouldn't be blogging about the Philippines. You shouldn't be talking about it, and you shouldn't be talking about anything associated with me because you're wrong. And this is where you need to stay away from people. I mean, you can watch these people when they're wrong, but you're not gonna for entertainment purposes. But for you to be, if you want information that's actually going to help you don't want to be listening to these guys that are wrong all the time or like wrong most of the time. Well, they're wrong all the time, especially when it comes to me. But there was a situation where they could have been right. But like I said, the truth will always come out, even if it takes 2 years or more.
The way how the Philippines is very strict on it. The other thing is they won't see him as Filipino. He's a Philam, he's Filipino American, so they'll see him more as a foreigner than they will a local guy, which means they're more likely to come down harder on him as well.
Yeah, that is true. I probably would have to agree with that because, like I said, I was so famous. They wanted to get their feather on their hat. If they chose somebody that didn't wasn't so famous as me, then it wouldn't be they wouldn't have any recognition. But the fact that I was so famous that I'm more they wanted just like him, just like Brain Dead, they wanted to become famous also. That's a pretty good screen capture right there.
Because he's a good example for the the media and to show the Filipino people they're doing something, the government's doing something about.
Yeah, he is. He does that. I agree with him on that point. You know, he wanted to make an exam. They wanted to make an example out of me, and the problem is they. I was a if they got the right person, if they got actually a guilty person, which this person was thinking. So the same thing also is I got to make an example now of people like this guy and people like Brain Dead. Okay, so what you should not do while you're in the Philippines.
These crimes. Now, going back to the stuff Ned was doing, I'd have to say Ned's quick to judge other people, but what did Ned do about it? He obviously knew this was going on, and he didn't do anything.
That's good because he's a yellow gutless bastard. That's why he is like he could have done something, but he just stuck to his like I'm milking this girlfriend with a messed up tooth for free until she gets old, and I'll kick him out. And that's what he should have stuck to. And then they only is like, oh, now he's in prison. Now I can talk about him now. Now that I'm out of prison, not so easy to talk about somebody. Why don't you talk about somebody when they're not in prison, when they can actually respond to their videos? Oh, actually, you can't do that now, huh? Because you're a coward. You're a yellow belly coward.
That says a lot about him directly.
Well, at least it's not just me and everybody who listens to this. This guy actually says a lot about him. So imagine who's worse off in the Brain Dead's marriage. Okay, there could be arguments on both sides. It's like okay, she did it for the money, so she married this guy. You know what says even in this statement is if itchy crotch, she married this guy for money. At least she's getting money out of it. You know, for her itchy crotch. So that says a lot about him. But is it worth the money? Is the question because there's a lot of people with money that are not like Brain Dead.
There was expats that actually did get involved in this. There was expats that did assist the local authorities as well as authorities outside of the Philippines.
And this is always going on. It's like, what is it that what authorities outside? What are we talking about? The FBI? What are we talking about? The State Department? What are we talking about? The what's that? Interpol? Where are they getting this information from? Because there wasn't any point other than the embassy visiting me every 6 months. There was no Interpol, there was no FBI, there was no State Department involved. So I would like to know where this is where this is coming from, where this statement is coming from. Other than like this NGO showing up when I went to prison after they saw it, they just wanted to see the monkey in the cage. Other than that, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know where he's coming from. I don't know why he's saying that that these other they're reporting this, they're reporting that. You people don't know anything, but he's making wild assumptions. So don't do what this guy does. You don't want to make assumptions like this because you're going to end up looking like a fool like this guy.
No.
So don't assume because you make an ass out of you. Sorry, I had to stick that in. It's an old bad cliche, overused, but let's continue.
Now, if you do, here's a bit of advice. If you do come across this sort of stuff.
Oh, whoa. He's giving advice now. Let's stop. Stop everything, you guys. Stop eating. Stop your music. Stop your work. He's giving advice now. Let's see what his advice is.
What you want to do is if you find certain videos, when you file a form and complain about this stuff, take the video and put the minute slots. So, for example, at 2 minutes 56 seconds, this girl looks around 14 years old. 3 minutes 26, he explicitly says that he is running a dating agency. 4 minutes 27, and then when you send that through, because that's when they'll look at something, because they'll actually go right. Because they get stuff all the time. The police get stuff and whatever. But if you've got specific slots, they will go through those videos because it's only going to take them a second. Because you'll go to this little video link, go to 2 minutes 22, have a look at this. This is what he says. This is what I think the law is breaking. They will look at that.
Okay, this information is useless.
And that's when they start forming a case. Now, some people assume that you contact the police and it's done instantly. No. There's a good chance, even if you were actually proactively trying to get rid of somebody like this, you would never hear anything about it because it's all done internally. There's no reason for them to contact you. Once you've passed your information over, that's your bit done. So don't assume that you're going to get a pat in the back or anything else. You're very likely to hear nothing. But in that case, he was arrested eventually, and I would say it's probably took them about a year to get enough evidence. Because one of the problems you
A year to get enough evidence. Okay, and what is this evidence that you're still talking about? These timestamps. Is this it? This person is completely useless. This is why you failed here.
you've got to do to get is actually get something solid, which in this case I believe is the evidence from the mother. As such, there is somebody that can actually instigate a raid, somebody that can take it to the whole next level.
Instigate. So at least he used the word properly. What instigate? Do we have to instigate a crime? So that was it. Entrapment versus instigation. So let's instigate. So we have to instigate what's going on over here. So we have to instigate the crime. So at least he's correct at that point.
Because they actually have a victim. Because until a crime is reported, there is no victim.
No, I disagree. Until a crime actually happens, there is no victim. Unless there's rape actually happened, there is no rape. How about that? So it's not about reporting. You could report. It's like, okay, you're reporting him. All right, let's go arrest him. For what? Then we got that's a problem. He hasn't committed a crime yet. Okay, we'll wait till we'll instigate him to do a crime, and then we'll arrest him. Does that make sense?
So there's a lot of stuff that people assume, oh, it'll just be this, the police ain't doing this or whatever. Have a look at the legalities around it, and you'll understand it a bit better. So that's I'll put that to one side.
Yeah, you better, because you don't know what you're talking about.
I'd also say that I know I'm having a bit of a dig at Ned for the stuff he's been up to, but there's a lot of stuff he has been up to in Dolmageti that is not his same image that he puts online. Let's put it that way. And there's multiple people that are aware of it. So yeah, he's not as clean cut.
Oh, wait a second. Multiple. What is he doing in Dumagetti that is not so clean that his image, like I said, he's got this image, his false god, false white savior, false white knight image.
But in honest as he were, he tries to pass himself off as on the internet. But anyway, and that's my personal opinion. But
oh, it's not an opinion. It's a fact. It's a matter of fact. And I'm just, and I have the goods to, I have planned to show it that he's completely not what he's, this front that he's saying he is.
I have no reason to disclose anything else because, like I said, I don't know him. It's not my problem. But anyway, I was on a live stream yesterday with Jay. We were just chatting about various things, about politics and things, and it was funny that I find some of this very peculiarly very sad. When people actually log into a live stream just to put adult entertainment to have a channel shut down, it's pathetic. It's really, really pathetic. And I can understand why some people get... I mean, the thing I will say about Jay and Barry, their tit for tat really isn't anywhere near as bad as some of the stuff that other people are trying to provoke them with. Which is the... So in my mindset, I can see that from Jay and Barry's side, they're just trying to do their own thing. Now, don't get me wrong, they're not innocent in retaliating against things. But I would say from the other side, it does seem that they're very proactive in creating issues. And I would hazard a guess it's probably just one or two people from the other side that are creating this stuff and then dragging other people into it for whatever reason. I mean, myself, I just say it's pathetic. It really is.
I'll agree with you with that.
At the same time, what I would advise any subscribers or whatever, just push that stuff aside. It just ain't worth the time. It's counterproductive. There's nothing positive coming out of it. It's just people that really need to go and get a hobby or a dog to walk, do something else. I mean, that's the thing, what I find peculiar with some people is that you look at Jay and Barry, you can see where they're living, what they're doing, whatever. Yet other people are getting all flustered because they're finding their real names. I think that says a lot.
I mean, like I do agree with it with guy with this point. Like I said, this YouTube is not my life. Everybody knows what my actual life is. I mean, it's is Heroes football and Heroes school, which he excels in both. Okay, he's an achiever here, even in this online epidemic, and he is. And I'll show you the results again. And also, I showed all the goals he scored. You know how hard it is to score a goal in football, and he does it in spades. That's my life is my kids. Okay, and this thing is just a side hobby, so I don't get too involved in it. But I do agree with it. It's like these people should just get a dog and walk them also. So I agree with that statement over here. So far, I mean, we're almost end of this video. This guy is really not that bad. He made an opinion based on what the situation was, even though they were wrong opinions, and you're entitled to a wrong opinion. So this guy gets, I would say so far as this guy gets a pass. He doesn't belong on the list. He was just making an opinion, making commentary. His only mistake or his only fault is that he didn't apply it correctly. That the information that he knows wasn't applied correctly.
A lot because at the end of the day, Barry and Jay are who they are. Other people often have a false persona and they don't really want people looking into their real lives. But welcome to trolls. So from that side, I would say if you do enjoy that stuff and like going to the channels, support their channels, because if they do get shut down again, then they're going to have to set up again. And I'll be honest, it's not their own fault. It's some very sad individuals creating this mess just for the sake of it. It's just sad. It is sad. Not sad like, oh, I'm depressed sad. Sad in like, I feel sorry for them. That's it. What else has been going on recently? Yeah, there's not a lot else to be honest. But I just wanted to make that one of those things out there. And I do think that there is just one or two individuals, and I do think that some people need to realise that they're getting played on both sides.
You're playing both sides.
Because it's a bit like when you go to let's say you were the football team or a rugby team or whatever, there's always that little twat in the corner that will start a fight with the other team or whatever. And do you know where he is when the fight starts? Right at the back. And bear that in mind. That's exactly what's going on here. It's the little instigator, the little...
That's funny. Good analogy. I'll give you that one. I enjoyed that one. It's like, okay, now that the real fight is already over. It's like, okay, where is he? That's what you say. Where is it? It's like, oh, I'm glad you're glad you showed up. This is like the movie Gladiator, where the weasel son of the Caesar comes in and goes, where is the battle? Where is the fight? I'm here now with my sword. And Marcus Aurelius says, you didn't just miss the battle, you missed the entire war. So that's he's making the same comparison. Okay, now that I'm in prison, it's like, oh, all this time, all these years that I've been waiting for him to go to prison, like, now we got him. What the hell did you do? All right, but now that I'm now in prison, it's like, okay, now I was against him from the very beginning.
Weedy one that creates the issue, then he buggers off to the back and leaves everybody else in their chaos.
My dad.
Oh, and then there's an ad. So let's sit through the ad. So he's making money from this,
every day,
which is opposite from me.
My mom had passed away from giving
birth. Let's get this ad.
So be aware of that. Thanks for watching.
All right, let's cancel this. What is that? Let's get back to a screenshot of this guy. So that's
Filipino people. They're doing something. The government's doing.
Let's go to that picture.
Good luck with that.
So let me wrap this up. This one wasn't so bad at all. He wasn't really throwing me under the bus. He just kind of had an opinion about what happened. He didn't add or anything into it, include into it, other than what's kind of the obvious that he's already pointing out. But he did make a good point about brain dead and how he is not what he is pretending or this. But I mean, it's not just brain dead. We all kind of have a persona, but I'm pretty much the same persona as I am when I'm dealing with other regular. Obviously, it depends on who I'm dealing with. It's going to be different versus somebody I knew for a long time. But I'm pretty much the what you see is what you get over here. What you see online is basically if you ever see me in person, I'm pretty much the same thing in what I'm doing. It's not I'm not doing one thing and secretly doing another. Yeah. So that's pretty what's pretty transparent about me. You're not going to find that from anybody else. So but overall, like I said, this person that gets a pass. So I did my proper reaction video on it, and like I said, it's not bad. I could see why he would leave it up, and I wouldn't put him on the list of people that we should make an example out of. I mean, this was a pretty good video. He actually attacked the people that were attacking me, and gave an example of what kind of weasel, coward, yellow bellies they are. And I do agree with him. So, like I said, I don't think that this person, so uh, whoever you are, I'm glad that you didn't give into emotion and that you actually analyze the situation. You're wrong, but that doesn't mean you did anything. You're wrong, but it doesn't mean that you broke any laws or you should go to prison, like brain dead. And my last question is like, how much is it worth? How much money does brain dead have to offer me as a what over here in settlement so we don't and the answer is I it would probably be everybody in the community. But the proper answer when I ask a question, the proper answer I would probably think is the community would rather see him, the especially the people who stand for truth and justice and reality would rather make see an example out of him than whatever settlement he has to offer. So that's all we got to say. So you could report this video to the cult followers. Please report it to your master, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.